The sound of my head hitting the marble floor echoed through the hotel ballroom like a gunshot. My son-in-law Tyler had just shoved me backward because I wouldn't hand over the keys to my penthouse. And when I looked up from the floor, expecting my daughter to help me, she was standing there glaring at me like I was the problem. My name is Lawrence Coleman. I'm 62 years old, and I thought I knew what betrayal felt like when my wife died 2 years ago. I was wrong. Nothing prepares you for the moment your own family turns on you for money. Let me back up so you understand how we got to this point. I started Coleman Enterprises 33 years ago with nothing but a pickup truck and a dream. Back then, I was working 16-hour days, sleeping in the truck between jobs, eating peanut butter sandwiches for dinner. My wife Linda believed in me when nobody else would. She kept the books while I swung the hammer. We built that company together, brick by brick, contract by contract. Today, Coleman Enterprises is worth $15 million. We've built half the office buildings in downtown Minneapolis, but more than that, we built a life, a good life. Linda and I bought the penthouse on 5th Avenue 20 years ago. She decorated every room, picked out every piece of furniture. That place wasn't just our home, it was our sanctuary. When Sarah came along, Linda said our family was complete. Sarah's 28 now, smart as her mother, stubborn as me. She graduated from business school 3 years ago, and I was ready to bring her into the company. Then Linda got sick. Cancer. It took her fast, 6 months from diagnosis to the end. I spent those months by her hospital bed, holding her hand, making promises I wasn't sure I could keep. "Take care of Sarah," she whispered the night before she passed. "Don't let anyone take advantage of her good heart." After the funeral, Sarah and I leaned on each other. She moved back home for a while, and we figured out how to live without the center of our universe. I threw myself into work and spoiling my daughter. Maybe I spoiled her too much. Maybe that's how we ended up here. 8 months ago, Sarah brought home Tyler Brooks. He was 30, good-looking in that catalog model way, and he had all the right words. Tech entrepreneur was how he introduced himself. Said he was developing some revolutionary app that was going to change everything. He wore expensive suits and drove a BMW, so I figured he was doing well enough. The thing is, I wanted to like Tyler. Sarah was happy for the first time since her mother died. She was laughing again, making plans for the future. If Tyler made my daughter smile, that was good enough for me. At least, that's what I told myself. But there were little things that bothered me. Tyler never picked up a check at dinner. He'd pat his pockets like he forgot his wallet, then look at me with this expectant smile. When Sarah mentioned wanting to redecorate her apartment, Tyler immediately suggested she ask Dad to cover the costs. "Lawrence won't mind," he'd say. "He's got plenty." The red flags were there. I just chose to ignore them because Sarah seemed happy. Things escalated after I gave Tyler a job at Coleman Enterprises. Sarah suggested it, said Tyler needed something stable while his startup got off the ground. I created a position for him, business development manager. It sounded important enough to stroke his ego, and the work wasn't too demanding. Mostly networking, client dinners, representing the company at industry events. Tyler took to the corporate lifestyle like a fish to water. Designer suits, expensive lunches, first-class travel. He had the company credit card and wasn't shy about using it. When I got the monthly statements, I'd see charges for $300 dinners and $500 shoes. Sarah said I was being cheap when I mentioned it. "He's representing our family name," she said. "He has to look the part. Our family name." That's when I realized Tyler wasn't just dating my daughter anymore. He was positioning himself as the heir apparent. The wedding planning started 6 months ago. Sarah was excited, and I was happy to write the checks. The Plaza Hotel, 200 guests, flowers flown in from Colombia. I spared no expense because Linda would have wanted Sarah to have the perfect day. But Tyler kept finding ways to make it more expensive. The band wasn't good enough, so we hired a better one. The flowers weren't exotic enough, so we upgraded to rare orchids. The cake wasn't impressive enough, so we commissioned something that looked like architecture instead of dessert. Every conversation became about money. How much was I spending? Was I sure we could afford it? Maybe I should increase Tyler's salary to help with wedding expenses. Maybe I should put him on the company health plan permanently. Maybe I should start thinking about succession planning, since he'd be family soon. Sarah ate it up. She loved the attention, loved being treated like a princess, and Tyler was smart, enough to make all his requests sound like they were coming from her. Sarah thinks, or Sarah suggested, always Sarah. Never him. 2 weeks before the wedding, I was working late when I heard voices in the office. Tyler was there with someone I didn't recognize, a guy in an expensive suit who looked like trouble. I stayed quiet and listened. "The old man's loaded," Tyler was saying. 15 million easy, probably more. And he's got no other kids, so it all comes to Sarah eventually. "Eventually doesn't pay for Cameron's gambling debts," the other guy said. "We need cash now. Relax, I've got this handled. After the wedding, I'll work on him. Maybe suggest he needs to step back, enjoy retirement." You know how it is with guys his age. They get confused, make bad decisions. Might need someone younger to take over the day-to-day operations. They were talking about stealing my company, my life's work, the legacy Linda and I built together. That's when I decided to install the extra security cameras. The wedding day started perfectly. Sarah looked radiant in her grandmother's restored dress, the one Linda had worn 30 years ago. I walked her down the aisle, fighting back tears, thinking how proud Linda would have been. The ceremony was beautiful, everything we'd planned and paid for. Tyler played his part perfectly, the loving groom, the grateful son-in-law. But I couldn't shake what I'd overheard 2 weeks earlier. During the reception, I watched Tyler differently. The way he worked the room, schmoozing with my business partners, dropping hints about exciting changes coming to Coleman Enterprises. The way he introduced himself as Sarah's husband and Lawrence's business partner. I'd never called him that. The reception was everything Sarah had dreamed of. The Plaza Ballroom was magnificent, crystal chandeliers casting rainbows across tables laden with white orchids. The band was playing jazz, couples were dancing, and champagne flowed like water. 200 of our closest friends and business associates all celebrating what should have been the happiest day of my life. I was standing by the bar, watching Sarah and Tyler's first dance, when I noticed Tyler's family acting strange. His father, Benjamin, kept checking his phone and whispering to his wife, Jennifer. His brother, Cameron, looked nervous, constantly glancing at the exit like he was planning an escape route. They'd been acting weird all week, actually, avoiding direct conversation with me, declining dinner invitations, always seeming to have somewhere else they needed to be. When the dance ended, instead of staying with his new wife, Tyler left Sarah on the floor and walked straight toward me. There was something different about his expression. The charming mask had slipped just enough for me to see what was underneath. Cold calculation. "Lawrence," he said, not bothering with pleasantries, "I need to talk to you." "Sure, Tyler. Congratulations again. Beautiful ceremony." He, beautiful, stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I need the keys to the Manhattan penthouse. Tonight." I thought I'd misheard him over the music. "I'm sorry, what?" "The penthouse keys. My parents are uncomfortable with their hotel room. They want to stay at your place instead." He said it like he was asking me to pass the salt, like it was the most reasonable request in the world. That penthouse wasn't just a piece of real estate to me. It was the home Linda and I had shared for 20 years. Every room held memories. Her art collection still hung on the walls. Her favorite books were still on the shelves in the study. Her clothes were still in the closet because I couldn't bear to pack them away. I was living there, for crying out loud. It was my sanctuary, the only place I could still feel close to her. "Tyler, I booked your parents a luxury suite at the St. Regis. It's fully paid for and it's literally 2 blocks away. They'll be very comfortable." His face changed. The wedding smile disappeared, replaced by something harder. They don't want some cramped hotel room. They want space. They want the view from the penthouse. They want to experience how the other half lives. He paused, then added with a smirk, "Besides, you're just one old guy rattling around in 4,000 square feet. It's kind of ridiculous, don't you think?" The disrespect hit me like a slap. This was my daughter's wedding, our family's celebration, and he was calling me ridiculous for living in my own home. "No, Tyler, that's final. Your parents have a beautiful suite waiting for them." He stepped closer, invading my personal space. I could smell the champagne on his breath, see the vein pulsing in his temple. "Listen, Lawrence, Sarah and I have been talking about this. You really shouldn't be living alone in that big place anyway. It's not safe for someone your age. You should be somewhere with people who can keep an eye on you, make sure you're taking your medications, help you make important decisions." My blood ran cold. A facility. He was talking about a nursing home and he was discussing it like the decision had already been made. Like I didn't have a say in my own life. "What are you suggesting, Tyler?" "I'm suggesting you think about what's best for everyone. Sarah worries about you constantly. She's always calling to check on you, afraid you'll fall down the stairs or forget to turn off the stove. It would be such a relief for her if you were somewhere safe." He was lying. Sarah called because she loved me, not because she was worried about my competence. But the way Tyler said it, so matter-of-factly, made me wonder if this was a conversation they'd actually had. "Tyler, I appreciate your concern, but I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself, and I'm definitely not giving you the keys to my home." That's when his mask came off completely. His face twisted into an ugly sneer, and he grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. "Look, old man," he hissed, his voice low and dangerous. "Sarah and I are married now. We're your family. That means we get a say in family decisions. And we've decided that you're going to hand over those keys, sign over power of attorney, and start acting like the grateful father you should be instead of the stubborn old fool you're being." I tried to pull my arm away, but his grip tightened. "Tyler, let go of me. You're making a scene. I'm not making anything. You are. Just give me the damn keys and we can all go back to celebrating." "Number one," I said it firmly, loud enough that a few nearby guests turned to look. Tyler's eyes went wide with rage. In all his months of manipulation, I don't think anyone had ever told him no so directly. He wasn't used to being denied, especially not by someone he considered a mark. "You're really going to do this? You're going to ruin Sarah's wedding over some stupid apartment?" "I'm not ruining anything." "You are." That's when he snapped. He released my arm and put both hands on my chest. "Then maybe it's time for you to step aside, permanently." He shoved me hard. I'm 62, not 22, and I wasn't expecting it. My feet tangled, my balance failed, and I went down like a tree. My head hit the marble floor with a crack that echoed through the suddenly silent ballroom. The music stopped. Conversations died. 200 guests turned to stare at the old man bleeding on the floor and the young groom standing over him with his fists clenched. I lay there stunned, tasting blood, looking up at the crystal chandelier spinning slowly above me. And then Sarah was there, kneeling beside me, and for a moment my heart leaped with hope. "Dad," she whispered urgently, "why did you have to push him like that? Just give Tyler what he wants and stop embarrassing us." That's when I knew I was truly alone. Tyler helped me to my feet with a show of concern that fooled everyone except me. "Careful there, Lawrence," he said loud enough for the crowd to hear. "Too much champagne, maybe. You should probably sit down." But I heard what he whispered next, so quiet only I could catch it. "The keys, old man. This is your last warning." I looked around the ballroom. The guests were already turning away, uncomfortable with the scene. Tyler's parents were watching from their table with satisfied smirks, like they were enjoying a particularly good show. Sarah was adjusting her dress and avoiding eye contact, clearly mortified that her father had caused a scene at her perfect wedding. That's when I realized something that should have been obvious months ago. I wasn't family to these people. I was a resource, a wallet with legs. And now that Tyler had married Sarah, he thought he owned me. I didn't give him the keys. I walked out. I sat in my Lincoln in the parking lot for 30 minutes, my head throbbing where it had hit the floor. My hands were shaking, but not from pain or fear. From rage. Pure, cold fury that Tyler thought he could assault me in public and get away with it. That my own daughter would blame me for being attacked. But mostly, I was angry at myself, for ignoring the warning signs, for letting Tyler worm his way into our lives, for being so desperate to see Sarah happy that I'd welcomed a predator into our family. While I sat there, I did something I probably should have done months ago. I pulled out my phone and opened the security app for the penthouse. I'd had cameras installed throughout the apartment after a break-in scare 3 years ago. The system was top of the line, motion activated, with live feeds I could access from anywhere. What I saw on my phone screen made my blood freeze. The penthouse should have been empty and dark. Instead, every light in the living room was blazing. There were people in my home. Tyler's family. All of them. Benjamin was behind my custom-built bar, drinking straight from a bottle of wine that cost more than most people's cars. Jennifer was in my bedroom going through Linda's jewelry box like it was a clearance bin at Walmart, and Cameron was, in my study, trying to pry open my wall safe with what looked like a crowbar. They weren't uncomfortable hotel guests looking for a place to crash. They were burglars who'd been given inside information. I scrolled through the recorded footage from earlier in the day. There was Tyler, 3 hours before the ceremony, using a key to let his family into my home. A key he shouldn't have had. A key he must have copied without my knowledge, probably months ago when I gave him access to pick up some documents for the company. I watched Benjamin pour himself Linda's favorite wine, a 1982 Bordeaux I'd been saving for our 30th anniversary. A bottle worth $3,000, and he was drinking it like it was beer, wiping his mouth on my kitchen towels. I watched Jennifer hold up Linda's pearl necklace, the one I'd given her for our 20th anniversary, testing its weight like she was calculating its resale value. But the worst part was Cameron in my study. He wasn't just trying to break into the safe, he was filming himself doing it, probably for Tyler's benefit. He kept looking at the camera on his phone and saying things like, "This better be worth the trouble," and "Your boy Tyler said this old fool keeps cash in here." I started recording everything on my phone. Every second of the violation, every moment of disrespect. Benjamin spilling wine on Linda's Persian rug, Jennifer trying on my dead wife's clothes, Cameron systematically destroying my study looking for valuables. This wasn't just theft, it was personal. They were desecrating Linda's memory, treating our home like a flea market. And Tyler had orchestrated the whole thing, probably planned it for months. The wedding was just cover, a way to keep me distracted while his family looted my life. That's when I made the call that would change everything. Catherine Hayes answered on the second ring, even though it was 9 p.m. on a Saturday. Catherine has been my lawyer for 15 years. More than that, she's been my guardian angel in every business crisis I've ever faced. She's 55, sharp as a razor, and she's never lost a case that mattered. In business circles, they call her the Ice Queen. Tyler calls her that witch because she terrifies him. "Catherine," I said, "I need you at the Plaza Hotel. Emergency protocols." There was a pause. Catherine knows me well enough to understand that I don't panic easily. "What kind of emergency, Lawrence?" "The nuclear kind. Tyler just assaulted me at the wedding, and his family is currently burglarizing my penthouse. I need a full legal strike team, and I need them now." "Jesus. Are you hurt?" "My pride more than anything." "But Catherine, they've been planning this for months. I have evidence of financial fraud, conspiracy, breaking and entering, and theft. I want to destroy them legally. I'm already getting dressed. Give me 45 minutes. And Lawrence, don't go back into that ballroom until I get there. If Tyler's desperate enough to assault you in public, there's no telling what he'll do if he feels cornered. There's one more thing. I want the police at the penthouse. I want Tyler's family arrested on camera. I want it to be public and humiliating. Consider it done. I'll call Detective Morrison at the precinct. He owes me a favor." While I waited for Catherine, I did something else I should have done months ago. I logged into the company's financial systems and started tracing Tyler's corporate credit card usage. What I found made me sick. Tyler hadn't just been living large on the company dime. He'd been systematically looting Coleman Enterprises for 6 months. Fake vendor payments to companies that didn't exist. Inflated expense reports for business trips that were actually vacations. Consulting fees paid to Benjamin Brooks for services never rendered. The total was over $400,000. $400,000 stolen from the company I'd spent 33 years building. Money that should have gone to employee bonuses, equipment upgrades, and business growth. Money Tyler had spent on designer suits and luxury cars and God knows what else. But the worst discovery was a document buried in Tyler's company email folder, a forged power of attorney with my signature, giving him full control over Coleman Enterprises in case of my mental incapacity. The signature was good enough to fool most people, but I knew I'd never signed anything like that. Tyler hadn't just married Sarah for her inheritance. He'd been planning to steal my entire company from day one. I forwarded everything to Catherine's secure email server. Then I called my head of security and had him change all the locks on the Coleman Enterprises building. Whatever Tyler was planning, his access to my business empire was officially terminated. By the time Catherine's black SUV pulled into the Plaza parking lot, I had enough evidence to put Tyler away for 10 years. But I wasn't interested in just winning. I wanted him destroyed. I wanted him humiliated the same way he'd tried to humiliate me. I wanted justice served at his own wedding reception. Catherine arrived with an army. 3 black SUVs pulled into the Plaza parking lot like a presidential convoy. She stepped out wearing a charcoal gray suit that probably cost more than Tyler's car, carrying a leather briefcase that looked like it could stop a bullet. Behind her came 2 security specialists, a forensic accountant, and a junior associate who looked terrified but ready for war. "Show me what we're dealing with," Catherine said without preamble. I handed her my phone with the live security feed from the penthouse. She watched Tyler's family destroying my home and her jaw tightened like a steel trap. "They're done," she said simply. "All of them." She made 3 phone calls. The first was to Detective Morrison, arranging for police to raid the penthouse. The second was to a judge she knew personally, waking him up to sign emergency warrants. The third was to the plaza's event coordinator, informing them that we'd need access to the ballroom's audiovisual system. "We're going back in there," Catherine said, "and we're going to end this publicly. Tyler wants to play games? Let's show him what happens when amateurs try to con professionals." We walked back into the plaza like we owned the place. The wedding reception was still going strong. Tyler was on the dance floor with Sarah, playing the perfect groom. His parents were at their table, probably texting updates to Cameron about what they'd found in my penthouse. Nobody noticed us slip in through the side entrance. Catherine went straight to the technical booth where the wedding videographer was set up. One look at her credentials and the threat of a lawsuit, and suddenly we had control of every screen in the ballroom. The music stopped mid-song when Catherine tapped the microphone. 200 heads turned toward the front of the room where she stood like an avenging angel in designer heels. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for interrupting this celebration. My name is Catherine Hayes, Chief Legal Counsel for Coleman Enterprises. I'm here on urgent business regarding criminal activities that have come to light tonight." Tyler went pale. Sarah looked confused. But Tyler's parents started moving toward the exit. "Mr. Tyler Brooks," Catherine continued, "you are hereby terminated from Coleman Enterprises for embezzlement, fraud, and conspiracy. Your corporate accounts have been frozen. Your company credit cards have been canceled. Security has already changed the locks on your office." Tyler tried to rush the stage, but Catherine's security team materialized between him and the microphone. Big men who looked like they ate linebackers for breakfast. "You can't fire me," Tyler screamed. "I'm family. I'm married to his daughter." Catherine smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "Mr. Brooks, marriage doesn't grant you immunity from federal crimes. Which brings me to tonight's entertainment." The lights dimmed and the giant screen behind the head table came to life. Suddenly, everyone in the ballroom was watching live footage from my penthouse security cameras. They saw Benjamin drinking my $3,000 wine. They saw Jennifer going through Linda's jewelry. They saw Cameron attacking my safe with a crowbar. Gasps echoed through the ballroom. These were my friends, business associates, people who knew how much Linda meant to me. Watching Tyler's family desecrate her memory was like watching someone vandalize a cemetery. But Catherine wasn't finished. She switched to the financial evidence. Bank records showing Tyler's systematic theft from Coleman Enterprises, fake invoices, forged signatures, $400,000 stolen over 6 months. "This is the man Sarah married," Catherine announced. "A thief, a fraud, and a predator who specifically targeted the Coleman family for financial exploitation." Tyler was screaming now, trying to get to the microphone, held back by security. Sarah was crying, but I couldn't tell if it was from embarrassment or heartbreak. The other guests were pulling out their phones, recording everything. This would be all over social media by morning. Then, the coup de grace. Catherine played the audio recording from Tyler's office conversation, the one where he talked about stealing my company and putting me in a nursing home. His voice filled the ballroom, clear as day, describing his plans to milk the old fool and get rid of him legally. The silence that followed was absolute. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Even Tyler stopped screaming. That's when the police arrived. Detective Morrison and 6 officers walked into the ballroom like they owned it. But they weren't there for Tyler. Not yet. They were there to escort everyone to the penthouse to witness the arrests of Benjamin, Jennifer, and Cameron Brooks. The footage of Tyler's family being arrested in my living room played live on the ballroom screen. 3 sets of handcuffs, 3 felony charges, 3 people who thought they could steal from me, learning what consequences actually looked like. Sarah finally found her voice. "Dad, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know any of this." I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She was 28 years old, smart, educated, and she'd been played by a con man who wasn't even particularly good at his job. The signs had been there for months. She just chose not to see them. "Sarah," I said quietly, "Tyler tried to have me declared mentally incompetent so he could steal my company. He forged legal documents with my signature. He physically assaulted me when I wouldn't give him the keys to our home. And his family was stealing your mother's jewelry while you were cutting your wedding cake." How exactly did you miss all of that? She didn't have an answer. Tyler was arrested that night on charges of embezzlement, fraud, conspiracy, and assault. His bail was set at $500,000, money he didn't have since all his assets came from stealing from me. He spent his wedding night in county lockup. The marriage was annulled within 30 days. Sarah moved back home and started therapy. She also started working at Coleman Enterprises, learning the business from entry level up. No special treatment, no executive track. She wanted to prove she could earn her place instead of inheriting it. It took 8 months for all the criminal and civil cases to conclude. Tyler got 3 years in federal prison for the financial crimes. His family got 18 months each for the break-in and theft. Between fines, restitution, and legal fees, they lost everything. Sarah and I are rebuilding our relationship slowly. Trust, once broken, doesn't heal overnight, but she's working hard to prove she's learned from her mistakes. She's dating someone new now, a teacher who drives a Honda and splits the check at dinner, a good man who treats her with respect instead of seeing her as a meal ticket. As for me, I'm 62 years old and I've learned that sometimes the most important word in the English language is no. No, you can't have my keys. No, you can't steal my company. No, you can't disrespect my wife's memory. And no, you can't count on family love to protect you from the consequences of your actions. The penthouse feels like home again. I had it professionally cleaned and blessed by our pastor. Linda's things are back where they belong, and the bad memories are fading. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I'd just given Tyler those keys, if I'd been the weak old man he thought I was. But then I remember the look in his eyes when he pushed me down, the contempt in his voice when he called me a fool. Some people mistake kindness for weakness. That's their first mistake. Their last mistake is finding out the difference. Tyler Brooks learned that lesson the hard way. And every night when I lock the door to my penthouse, with keys that belong to me and me alone, I sleep just fine. Real strength isn't about how hard you can hit back. It's about knowing when to stand your ground and when to walk away, then having the wisdom to choose the right moment for each. The difference between a fool and a wise man isn't that the wise man never gets fooled. It's that when he finally sees the truth, he has the courage to act on it, no matter how much it costs him emotionally.